Hi everyone, it's me Giovanni, and today I'm back with another video. So just in case if you saw my last video, and if you didn't, that's totally fine. I just needed to get something off my chest because of, I don't want to talk about it. It's sort of underwhelming to me. But anyways, so this video is going to be about Five Nights at Freddy's again. Specifically two things. One, the fact that people still think that Five Nights at Freddy's takes place not in 1993, but in different time years, like 1992, 1998, or 1989, which is probably the most stupidest year that I can ever think of that would take place in Fnaf 1. I mean, when I look at the game, I immediately assume that it would take place in the early 90s, and it feels like it. But there was so the whole Fnaf 1 taking place in 1989 is mostly from the Unwittered Truth. I don't agree with them, especially since I looked at the calendar and I feel like Fnaf 1 taking place in 1989 would be BS, to put it bluntly. And I would still say that Fnaf 1 takes place in 1993. For obvious reasons. However, there were some things that I want to mention. These phones. So, okay, I'm not sure what's going on outside, but I don't want to know. Oops. So this phone is an analog phone, and I try to find similar phones like this, and the closest one that I can find with these specific keypads, keys, buttons, is the Nokia. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that name right, but Nokia from Nokia 6110 from 1998. But there's a phone with this antenna on the left side, and it has a sort of rectangular shape, and the closest one is from 1992. So Fnaf takes place in the earlier late 90s. It takes place in the 90s. And specifically 1992 or 1998, yeah, most likely. But there was also the Walt Disney copyright thing, The Happiest Place on Earth. And it has been a slogan ever since the 50s. And even though it was copyrighted in 1998, it probably wouldn't mean anything. Now, I would still say that Fnaf 1 takes place in 1993 for the sake of my own sanity. And as for Ralph, the phone guy, his daughter is 12 his daughter's 11 to 12 years old. She would become 12 in December of she would become 12 in December. And if Fnaf 1 takes place in 1993, then that would mean Coppelia was born in 1981. And let's just say a recent theorist, a new theorist, on her first video, I would like to mention, say that Rev probably worked at Fredbear's, which would actually make a lot more sense. It would actually make a lot more sense. But the whole, like I said, the whole 1989 thing is BS to me. It's absolute BS. But, I mean, I've already made a video about Fnaf 1 taking place in 1993 regardless, so, it probably wouldn't even matter anymore, but still, Fnaf 1 clearly takes place in the 90s. Now, the second thing is about Cassidy and Golden Freddy. Now, there are multiple problems with Golden Freddy and Cassidy as a whole. And thankfully, some theorists have said that the crime child is not Cassidy, because that would be sort of impossible, especially due to the fifth missing child thing. I mean, to be rather obvious. Cassidy is Golden Freddy. She was the fifth missing child, and Golden Freddy is the fifth animatronic in the original Fnaf 1. So, yeah, I don't know how the hell that people automatically make assumptions saying that Cassidy wasn't part of the missing children's incident, or that the crime child was part of the missing children's incident, or so on. I don't know. I really don't know. But there was one video that caught my attention, and that was Underscore's video 2 months ago about why Golden Freddy does not actually exist. Now, I watched the video. When I watched the video the first time, I understood why, but when I watched the video again, when I thought about other theories surrounding Golden Freddy and Cassidy, I was like, yeah, no. Golden Freddy doesn't exist, but would there be an existing suit of like Golden Freddy, but not actually? And let's just say that Underscore also made the assumption that the fifth missing child, Cassidy, is not real, and that she was made for the purpose of interacting with the crime child and trying to regain his memories, and due to Fnaf World. But if Cassidy is not a real child, then how the hell does she have her own grave? Well, I made a... So here's what I've thought. So Cassidy is a real child. She was indeed the fifth missing child. But she was... and if we had to go off into the pit and Toy Chica's high school years, where she has seven victims, the first one being Foxy, symbolizing Charlie, since she wasn't part of the missing children's incident, and she was before the missing children's incident, obviously. So there's 6 other victims, 5 being the missing children, and the 1 being an extra child. And Into the Pit retcons this by having 6 missing children. The five ones that I've already mentioned, and a 6th missing child. The last victim, the 6th child, is representative of Pick Patch, where Toy Chica just wants to, like, she She can't think of anything nice to say about him or what interests her about him. She just thinks about kidnapping him, waiting for him after school, and hitting him over the shovel and taking him to the back of her car. Now, there was a line from Toy Chica. He'll be mine by the end of the day, I just know it. And she says this for 4 of her victims. The other 2, the Marionette and Pigpatch, she doesn't. So, I remember the give gifts and give life minigame. And so basically the puppet gives gifts and life to the 4 missing children. Well, 5. But when she gets to the last of the 4 missing children, Golden Freddy appears. Now, like I said, Cassidy might actually be a real child in the game, in Fnaf. She's a real child, and she was the 5th missing child in William Afton's Crimes, the missing children's incident, of course. But the four other children were actually stuffed into suits. Cassidy wasn't, and if we have to go off into the pit and Toy Chica's high school years, there was also an additional 6th child, and he or she was also left out. Cassidy and the 6th child, maybe Andrew, were left out and possessed maybe an old Fredbear suit. Fredbear is somewhat confirmed to be Golden Freddy, and I'll say that he is. Fredbear might actually be Golden Freddy. And the Crying Child doesn't possess Fredbear, the animatronic, because for obvious reasons. So Cassidy and Andrew possess Golden Freddy, and Golden Freddy is mostly a ghostly apparition who shapeshifts into the respective version of that animatronic to blend in with their friends in Fnaf 1, Fnaf 2, maybe Fnaf 4, and probably even Fnaf 5 sister location with Yendo. If I just have to make this short, Cassidy is a real missing child in Fnaf, and that Golden Freddy does not actually exist, but was instead Fredbear, and instead it shape-shifted into a ghostly apparition. I mean, Spring Bonnie is known as Yellow Rabbit, so Golden Freddy is known as Yellow Bear, so it doesn't seem out of question that Fredbear is Golden Freddy. Anyway, that's all that I have for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Oh, so this is a rotary phone, and I try to find an exact real-life image of this similar phone, but I cannot. And this is not actually a rotary phone. It's called a Radio Shack phone.